Wait a minute. Twig. That's not your normal bird of the day background. That's right. I updated the bird of the day image. This one looks a little nicer. Looks a little bit... Okay, it still looks kind of 1990s. I'm not good at putting text on things and making it look good, okay? But it looks fine. It looks better than it did before. The one before really looked word arty. This one's a little less word arty? I don't know. I like the bird silhouettes in the background. I think it works better. But we got today's bird of the day. Oh, this is type of bird we've talked about for a long time. People are like, wait, you haven't done this kind of bird yet? How can you not have done this kind of bird yet? It's one of the most common kind of birds. Everybody knows this kind of bird. Well, it's just one of those types of birds where, you know, I've done other birds that are in this bird's family. But nothing in this genus. Nothing that's referred to as this kind of animal. And we're doing a specific species within it. But it's a very common kind of bird. So what kind of bird am I doing? What's a bird that we haven't done so far? And everyone's like, Twig, how can you not have done that before? Well, let me tell you. Today's bird of the day. We're doing the Mallard Duck. That's right. Can you believe it? I haven't done a type of duck yet. Oh, but today we got ducks. Oh, we got some ducks. We have got some lovely, lovely ducks. Look at them. Look at them. We got the Mallard Duck. Ah. I like the Mallard Duck. The Mallard Duck's one of my favorite kind of ducks. This is a bird. A little corvish. It's one of the bird species I've seen the most in my life. You know, and crows, of course. Mallard ducks, oh, they're all over the place. In the area in which I live. A stupid idea for what kind of bird I can do next. Well, I'm all ears. I'm all ears, Budgie Eater. I'm all ears. Don't you say Budgie, because you know I already did Budgie. But I'm all ears. What bird should I do tomorrow? What bird should I do tomorrow? Anyway, today we're talking about the Mallard Duck. You just post that in there. I'm going to keep talking about the Mallard Duck. So the Mallard Duck is a duck that is 20 to 26 inches long. Yeah, pretty average size for a duck. 32 to 39 inch wingspan. Again, you know, good size. Pretty big bird. 1.5 to 3.5 pounds. So it's for as bulky as they are. Don't weigh too much. The males and the females of this species are usually about the same size, but boy, there's some pretty big differences. This picture here looks like there's mostly males in this picture. So the male mallard duck, very, very iconic in its appearance. The bright yellowish orangish bill. You got the gray and brown striped feathers across their back. Kind of the gray chest area, or the brownish chest area there. The white ring. And of course, that emerald green head. Beautiful emerald green heads. I mean, the male mallard duck, one of the most iconic birds out there. But you know what? The females, I think they're kind of pretty in their own right. You know, they got those nice, soft, different shades of browns. But, you know, those browns are in a very nice pattern on their wings and on their back and stuff. I think the female mallard is quite beautiful as well. But the fact that they look so different, one of the most easily identifiable differences between male and female is the mallard duck. I mean, it's like, it's so noticeable, so noticeable. They got a decent lifespan, 5 to 10 years in the wild. You know, if you have one in captivity, it's usually going to live over 20. The oldest wild duck, mallard duck, ever was banded in 1981. And it was found to have recently died in 2008. That's 27 years. 27 years. Pretty good for a wild duck. Pretty good. So as is pretty typical with most birds, you know, not too common that they die of old age. They got a lot of predators, a lot of problems. So this is, of course, in the order Anseriformes in the Anatatidae. And this would be not the first bird we've done in the Anatatidae. The Canada goose and the swans. Geese and swans are also Anatatidae. And so, ducks are actually split into two separate genuses. There's honestly, I don't remember what the other one is. But this one, yeah. So ducks are actually much more closely related to geese and swans than you might think. Yeah, pretty close, pretty close. Okay, so you see this map here. The bright green regions, that's where you're only going to find them in the summertime. This is what we refer to as their breeding zones. So that's where they meet up in the spring, they have their babies, they raise their babies. The dark green, they'll do that there too. But that's a year-round area. You're gonna find ducks year-round in those dark green areas. The blue areas, that's where you're only going to find them in the wintertime. So interesting, you look at Japan there. Ducks only hang out in Japan in the summertime, and you leave in the winter. Same with most of the southern U.S., little bits of Africa, some of the Indian subcontinent. So yeah, you're going to find these ducks pretty much everywhere in the northern hemisphere. Now, if you look down there... Oh, dude, the blue-footed booby? They were on my short list. Blue-footed booby's on my short list, for sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't worry. We're going to cover boobies and tits. Boobies and tits will be covered. Anyway, you see those brown areas and the pink? Well, what that's referring to is areas where... The pink areas where they had been introduced at some point, but now they're think to be extinct there. And the brown areas are areas where there's still a small population where they were introduced illegally, and they're trying to get rid of them because they're actually an invasive species. So they're an invasive species in a lot of Australia and New Zealand, and they're trying to get rid of them. So it's like, the put them there, it's like, yep, the ducks exist here, but they don't belong there. They're invasive. They're not native. They were brought over illegally, and they're actually doing more damage to the ecosystem because they don't belong in that ecosystem. It's the problem. Okay. So, the mallard is the ancestor of most domestic ducks. So if you see ducks that are, raised for livestock purposes, they've split off into a different subspecies, but they usually were taken from mallard ducks that were domesticated through, selective breeding over the years. And so they have a lot in common with your domesticated ducks. So that Aflac duck, very closely related, but though that is now considered a different species, but, very, very closely related. The mallard duck is the most hunted duck in the world. Very, very hunted. They would say that, they're hunted in just about every country where they live, because their meat is pretty edible, roast duck, suckling duck, it's one of the things. It's not as succulent as, like, a lot of the other, game fowl and stuff, but it's something that a lot of people like to eat. And so, they get hunted a lot by human hunters. But not only that, they get hunted a lot by wolves and foxes, not to mention bigger birds. A big hawk or even a falcon take down a duck and eat it. So ducks... Boy, they are a prey species. But you know what? They're also a predator species. Because the duck, they like to eat little tiny fishies. Little tiny sea creatures. But they also eat a lot of, like, grains. And, they're pretty omnivorous. They're opportunistic. A lot of times you'll see them... They'll swim in shallower waters. And they do a little thing where they stick their butts right up in the air. It's real cute. And their bills are just kind of sifting through. Trying to find little tasty little nibblies in the soot and stuff, or try and grab a little fish. It's pretty cute. So ducks, opportunistic omnivores. Not quite as omnivorous as, say, the crow. But yeah, pretty good. Now, this is something that I thought was kind of interesting. The whack, 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 whack. The standard quack. It turns out that's a sound that you're really only ever going to hear from the females. The males do make kind of a quacking sound, but it's much quieter, softer, more rumbly quack. The real quack you're familiar with, yeah, it's pretty much only made by females. So, yeah. Now, this is a pretty commonly known fact about them, is that the skin and feathers of a duck secrete an oil. And this oil, I mean, it's a kind of oil that just covers the feathers, and it just makes these little guys waterproof. You get water on them, it just beads up, rolls right off. It's very hard to make a duck wet and have them stay wet. The water just slides right off. Slides right off. It's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, you can see a lot of the, adaptations for that. It lets them fly in the rain much more easily. But, they're waterfowl. Straight up waterfowl. So being able to swim through the water, dive underwater and grab stuff and not then, because you think about it, you fly. And if your feathers are matted down and soaked from water, it's going to make it a heck of a lot harder to fly. But if the water slips right off, you can land into water and take off right out of the water. No problem. Not being weighed down by all that extra water. Because, I mean, think about it. A duck weighs 1.5 to 3 pounds. Well, if you had a duck-size shape of water, you're going to weigh a heck of a lot more than 3 pounds. For sure, for sure. So, very advantageous for them to be able to just slip that water right off of them. It's pretty neat. Here's another thing I really like about ducks. Now, this isn't true of just mallards. This is actually true of a lot of duck species. But ducks are a very communal animal. I mean, this time of year especially, oh my gosh, I was going past a pond. There must have been over 100 ducks in that pond. They cluster up in the wintertime. Very, very social animals. But here's a cool thing. If something happens to a mother duck when she's raising her ducklings, another female duck will adopt those duck babies and raise them as if they were her own. Now, the duck that kind of got famous a few years ago in my area, there was one duck that had 78 babies with her. She was taking care of 78 babies. Unbelievable. Now, that duck was not a mallard. That was a merganser. But still, that behavior has been seen in mallards. And personally, I have seen a mallard duck female with over 20 myself. And it's pretty cool. And you know what? I gotta say, little baby ducklings, they're pretty cute. They're so cute. Little fuzzy guys waddling around. Super cute. Super cute. Oh, here's an interesting thing. Usually, ducks can legally kidnap kids. Well, I mean, not if the parents are still alive. This is foster care. It's foster care of orphans. But yeah, probably they can probably legally kidnap. There's not a whole lot of duck law. Ducks are rather lawless. It kind of happens. It happens. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Just the way it is. Ducks are okay. So here's a weird thing. Ducks are semi-monogamous. So a mating pair will stay together, take care of each other, raise a young together. But in terms of paternity, okay, I don't know. A lot of you knew this was coming. I knew this was coming. This thing about ducks. If there are any children watching right now, now is the time to maybe turn this video off, because this part of ducks, it's not safe. And many of you, there's a very popular YouTube video by the famous Zifrank called True Facts About the Duck. If you've seen that video, you know what we're talking about here. So, most birds have one organ at the bottom. It's kind of an all-purpose organ. It's called the cloaca. They excrete or fecal matter out of it, and the fecal matter is usually very liquid, so they don't pee and poop. That's just all kind of one. It's also the reproductive organ, both for males and females. And it's not true with ducks. No, it's not true with ducks. Ducks have a more, shall we say, mammalian set of sexual organs. And the males, as we say, their unit. Yeah, just go ahead and say it. Ducks have a 9-inch corkscrew penis. There, I've said it. Okay. And female ducks have a deep corkscrew vagina that corkscrews in the opposite direction. And their sex is very forced, often very violent. Often a gang of male ducks will all gang up on the same female duck, and there are barbs on it so that it can scrape out the competitive... I mean, Ducks have been known to engage in homosexual behavior. They have been known to, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's just something that's been noted. But they have also been known to engage in necrophilia. I just realized I was super problematic to put necrophilia and homosexual behavior. I'm not saying that the two are equal, so I apologize if that came off correct, and I apologize for that. But let's just say that ducks are very sexually aggressive across all aspects of it. And the more male ducks that there are, the more aggressive they get. And let's just say it's usually not too pleasant for the female. So while a male will choose a mate and protect her, he will go out and sleep with as many females as he can. And a female may get aggressively taken by other males in the area. So even though they're, in terms of caring for each other and pair bonding, that happens, sexually, it's a fucking free-for-all. It's fucking crazy. And, you know, but that's nature for you. That's nature. Not saying that I condone this behavior. I'm not saying I condemn this behavior. That is the way the duck do. So, that's all I'm going to say about that. So, my thoughts, so, you know what? Despite the last segment that I was talking about, I actually have to say I really like the Mallard Duck. I mean, look at these two. They're adorable. They're adorable. I mean, the Mallard Ducks are some of the cutest birds out there. They're good size. They got those goofy little bills. They're pretty nice. Quack. It's like, I like the Mallard Duck. But I have to say, one tip for Mallard Ducks, please do not feed them white bread. I know it's very common to go down to the pond and feed bread to the ducks. Don't do it. Bread is full of all sorts of, like, the gluten and the sugars in bread are not healthy for them. Oh, they'll eat it. It's tasty for them. They like it, but it's not healthy for them. You want to feed the ducks? There are some, you know, some grains and stuff that are better to eat for them. You can give them some of those grains. Some dried insects could sometimes be good. And, yeah. Just look it up there. You know, duck food. Look up some duck food. This is some good stuff to have. But ducks? I like ducks. I think they're cute. I love seeing big communities of ducks. Ducks and crows get along pretty good. Not really competing with too much of each other. I like the Mallard Duck. Mallard Duck, very good duck. I give them B+. B+ duck. Not quite in the A range of super awesome bird, but a very solid, very good bird. I like them a lot. And I imagine most of you probably like them a lot too. They're pretty cute. And I love the cute little babies. Cute little baby ducks. I mean, who doesn't love a cute little baby duck? Alright. Well, we're going to call this bird of the day done for now. What bird do crows not like? I mean, come on. Easiest answer there. Geese and seagulls. I mean, come on. Seagulls, I would say, are probably the worst. Crows and seagulls have a well-known rivalry. Lots of competition. Seagulls are loud, noisy, and annoying, and little pieces of crap. So, yeah. I would say the biggest enemy of the crow is the seagull. Although, kind of have to say, eagles and hawks are known to actually kill crows. Seagulls usually don't kill crows. They steal our food. Yeah, it's like... And our, you know, seagulls aren't our biggest predator, but boy, they're our rivals. You know, these stupid freaking seagulls are the worst. Go freaking they're the worst seagulls. You piss off, you white little bastards. Okay. So, I think I was gonna cover my thoughts on the duck. Duck, great bird.